Everybody ask me how I know. I probably been since you told me so. I know. Everybody ask me how I know. I probably been since you told me so. I know.
That's my lovely editing. Legitness. Oh, we still doing the legit thing? I think we're up to 7 or 8 legits.
I haven't said anything.
This is Blast Out of Fashion. We are back from hiatus last weekend, 4th of July weekend, my daughter's birthday. Was just an overall shitty weekend for me. So I was like, you know what? There's only $3 that came out. I'm going to pass. If somebody else says pass, Mike raised his hand, so we passed. Yes, Mike.
So your daughter's birthday was shitty?
No, not that one. Shitty. No. Oh, man.
You're a
You're going to give me
horrible person.
No, just overall work and life and all that fun stuff. You know, you have those shitty weeks sometimes, everything going on. But we are back. This is the first time catching the show. What we do is we read the books that come out for the week. We blast the books we hate. We stash the books we like. But before we get into the reviews, let's talk about this cool stuff you can go get over here at Teespring. You can get your Dr. Aphra Galactic Gynecologist shirt. Or a shirt or poster. You can go get that over at Teespring. I forgot to put the link down below, but you know, you can go to Teespring, search Boston or Stash It, and you'll find it there. There's also the new Pocan Joe shirt you can buy right there. That's Pocan Joe thumbing himself. That sounded bad, but you know, that's what Pocan Joe does. You can also catch us on the audio, where I take the audio from the show and put it on there. I'm still working on the other one with the grab bag, but other than that, we're going to go ahead and jump into stuff. Real quick, I watched a few movies over my past few weeks. I watched that My Spy movie on Amazon with Dave Bautista. I don't know if you've seen the trailer for that. That's
Yeah.
CIA. Did you watch it?
Oh, no, of course not. I saw the trailer.
Oh, okay. I watched Ford versus Ferrari, which was an awesome movie. If you're a car guy, that's an awesome movie. Mm-hmm. Scott Pilgrim, watched that again, and Ready or Not. Those are some movies I watched. But
Dave?
Yes, Joe. Yes, Mike.
You like Scott Pilgrim?
Scott Pilgrim's good, yeah.
How's your vagina?
You don't like Scott Pilgrim versus the World?
That was a good burn, dude. Like, he's the biggest simp of all time. If you've seen that movie, he's like, what do you want me to do? Fight your ex-boyfriend?
That actor himself, I don't like that actor. He kind of drives me nuts, everything he's ever done. But this movie's good, I think. A lot of pop culture references, video game stuff. I've
been watching that Warrior Nun, and I'll be honest with you, I've really been kind of enjoying that. Like, I'm like, okay, I get where you're going. You know, the whole female empowerment thing. I get it. And you know what? I'm on board to a point. But I like the action in it, and I want to watch more of it. So, and we've also we caught on to Teen Titans season 2. We picked that up. I've been watching that, and they're getting into the whole science-y thing in mind, which I think it's too early for that. But for season 2, it's not bad. We see Connor in it. That was kind of cool. That they took the comic book and made sense out of it. So I enjoyed that. Mike, shut the hell up. And I've been watching, and actually I've been really getting into. I've always enjoyed blacksmithing and metalworking. So finally. Forged in Fire. What does that say? I can't see it.
You spelled grandpa wrong, but you know.
That's the Virginian spelling.
Yeah, it's Virginian spelling. I got that. But I've been getting into Forged in Fire lately. Again, something I've always had a passion for, metalworking and things like that. So, but because of my limited space, I decided to live in fantasy. So I've been watching a lot of that lately, and I'm just like, oh, such good stuff.
What about you, Mike? I know you finished The Last of Us. You posted that on Facebook.
Yes, great game. I didn't see any controversy whatsoever. I don't know what everyone's all talking about. But I also started Warrior Nun It's just Warrior Nun. It's not Warrior Nun Ariella, like the book from 1994, the year I graduated. It. But I like it so far. I started watching The Boys again, actually, with my wife.
Right.
Why not? Because it's a great show, and season 2's coming. Did you guys see the trailer? I don't know if you guys watched The Umbrella Academy season 2.
I've seen both trailers, and I'll be
I
honest,
didn't even notice those
I'm
yet.
on board. Yeah, both trailers are up and running, and I'm just like, yeah, I want to see some more because I really enjoy those two shows. I'm surprised by them.
And of course, working.
Old Guard came out today. That's that based off a comic book from, is it Image? Yeah, it's Image.
Yeah.
Charlie Theron. I'm probably going to watch that tonight, maybe after we get done here and check that out.
Where's that at?
Netflix.
Yeah, it's on Netflix. I have issue 1. I'm pretty sure you'll see it in an auction here soon enough. Not because it's a bad book, because it's popular now. I'm sure I can get another $5 for it.
I have issue 1, and I have the 1 per store variant too.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's go to jump into the books. It was a very Batman heavy week. We had Batman, we had Detective Comics, we had Batman Adventure Continues, we had the Damned. What is it? Deceased. That was out too this week.
Yep.
So a lot of Batman stuff
Batman
this week. I'm not sure if we all read Batman, but we can go to jump into the first book. You want to start us out, Joe, on something?
Sure. Let's go ahead and start out with the most obvious thing out there, the new Crisis event that's coming out. Let's talk about some of this Empire stuff that's coming out. So if you remember the last Empire story from last week, we didn't do a show. We didn't review it. I thought it was okay, like just legitimately. And then I found out the Fantastic Four is involved. So I'm like, why is the Fantastic Four involved? This explains kind of sort of why. However, this is a very predictable story. It's not complicated. Basically, the Fantastic Four find themselves running out of fuel. They go to a casino. Super smart child wants to gamble, doesn't really understand how gambling works. She thinks it's a mathematical formula, but she doesn't understand random. But her mother turns invisible and kind of helps her out with it because that's what parents do. I actually kind of related to that. Like Dave and Mike have seen me gamble before, and I'm like, if you can, like I don't mind gambling, so I kind of got that was kind of cool. But what we found out is a very predictable story. It's a Romeo and Juliet story. I'll just go ahead and tell you now. We have 2 young kids that are fighting in an arena because they're Skrull and Kree. Right? That's supposed to be their thing. They're supposed to be constantly at war. They're bred that way. Well, they're fighting in this, and they're doing it at a casino because it's fight night there. And of course, the Thing and Johnny Blaze have got a problem with this. So they're going to break this fight up. But ultimately, at the end of the day, what is it going to be? My prediction is it's a Romeo and Juliet story. So that's going to change the whole narrative by the end of the story. That's just my prediction. What do you think? Please let us know. Comment in the chat box. But I think our next Crisis is basically just it's going to be a Romeo and Juliet. Hopefully some cool stuff happens. I know there's going to be some Savage Avengers that are going to come out. They're going to play into this. That's going to be awesome. I love me some Savage Avengers, especially that new team. Hopefully that works out. But this is kind of a generic story about how 2 star-crossed lovers meet and they hate each other, and eventually they got to figure out how to work together, and eventually I'm pretty sure that will turn into a romance. If I'm wrong, I'll be the first one to admit I'm wrong. But yeah, that's what I think about Empire 1. Not a bad story, very typical. It was humorous, it was good, so it's a stash for me.
So if the Skrull and the Kree have a baby, are they going to be Skrulls?
Here's the thing. According to the latest Emperor that combined the 2 of them, he's already a crossbreed between those 2 people. So it wouldn't be unusual at that point. But I think what these 2 are going to do, instead of just being a mixed child and trying to combine the universe, I think we're going to see. And this is where I kind of hope they go with it, because I think it would have more meaning. These 2 people got to figure out how to work together and combine everybody, plus have a family life. I think that would be a more holistic story. At least I hope that's how they go. Instead of just being a kid that, well, I'm this and I'm that, so I automatically know how everybody needs to get along. That's not a story. That's projection. So I'm kind of hoping we get something from this where we actually kind of see the dynamic of it.
What about you, Mike? You read Empire Fantastic Four #0.
Yeah, I did. I said I wasn't going to buy these Empire crossovers or whatever tie-ins, but wasn't a lot of Marvel this week, so I grabbed it. I like the Fantastic Four. I actually enjoyed this. Let's get down to it. And Joey said enough about it. I just want to bring up the simple fact that Baby Yoda was mentioned in this. Baby Yoda is Marvel. So does that mean like Baby Yoda's gonna show up?
Oh,
I don't know.
What would that be?
I got to that point and I stopped reading for a while. I was like, I know he was. Franklin Richard mentioned it, so but yeah, this is good. I'm gonna stash this. Thing was pretty good in this. He gets all pissed off because he don't like kids fighting, and he goes in there and busts up the arena thing and brings his old pal Human Torch with him. But yeah, good stuff.
Myself too. I remember talking the last episode. I'm not going to buy anything Empire. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. And I bought it basically on speculation because it is the first appearance of the Profiteer as well, who was like a related.
Is it really?
Yeah. That's one reason why I bought it. I guess that was my justification of like, no, I guess I'll give in and buy something that's Empire crossover. So I did. I actually thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it a lot. I do like the whole casino thing and them fighting for money and them taking the bets. And then also now the Thing's thrown in there as one of the contestants because the other two kids are hurt and they're not going to supposed to be up in for a while, like not going to be healed. So that was really good. They did make a lot of pop culture references. There was one other ones they made. It was either about a cooking show or they were going to be back in time to watch the show that they wanted or something. I forgot what it was. And they did do the Baby Yoda pop culture reference as well. We got Dan Slott writing this still, so I was okay with Dan Slott's writing on this. It wasn't too bad. I'm trying to find that pop culture reference, but overall, I thought it was pretty good. I'm not reading anything else Empire. I don't know if I'm gonna be missing any other story.
We all failed to mention at the end of it, they're heading back to Earth and something goes on. I don't like.
Yeah, something's going to keep them from coming to Earth. Yeah.
So
that's why they're going to go to the moon, where the other. If we did the show last week, we could have reviewed it, but they're going to go. They got something wrong. They got to go to the moon, and that's where we have the Avengers and that whole
Krakoa.
No,
not the island from X-Men, right?
Not the island from X-Men, but the people that live on the moon that created a planet where we got the swordsman, right? The swordsman.
Oh, okay.
So we saw that issue where they were coming in on the splash page at the end. I think we have. Yes, Marvel kind of overdoes it with the epic stories a little bit, but you got to give them some credit. Like if we go back to War of the Realms, like that was a good series. Not all the tie-ins were necessary, but the main storyline and several of the tie-ins actually kind of benefited the story. And this is one of those things where you're just not really sure, so you have to think. If like one of the books I know a lot of us read is going to be Strange Academy, right? So if Strange Academy being 2 issues in all of a sudden ties into this, we know it's not going to be a major story plot point. They're just involved in it. So I think this is one of those ones where you kind of watch out what ones you're picking, kind of read the synopsis and see if it, and make that call. Truth is,
just buy what you like. Just buy what you like. Buy what you like.
Yeah, buy what you like and find what interests you. Trust me, if it's bad, we'll tell you on that show. Like, That's what we do. We buy comic books and we review them.
So Double S, this is outside of what we're reviewing, but he asked, how do we feel about Marvel buying and licensing rights for Predator and Alien since Dark Horse doesn't own them anymore? Mike, you're probably the biggest Predator and Aliens fan of the group. What's your opinion on that?
I'm actually excited of the possibilities that, Aliens versus Avengers and stupid shit like that. I'm excited. Maybe after Empire, with all these people going into space and the Fantastic Four, maybe we'll have a face hugger attached to the Sue Storm or something. I don't know. All the possibilities. Predator versus Spider-Man.
I want to see a Punisher against Predator. I guarantee you it will look just like the original Predator movie, and it will be awesome. Everybody will fall in love with it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna kill me. I did briefly want to talk about a comic from last week, just really briefly. This comic was so bad. When I was eating lunch, I choked on my steak. Almost died at the picnic table. Ended up spitting up all over
You
it.
eat steak at lunch? What kind of money are you making over there, bud?
All America Comics Image. America, I forgot what her name was.
I didn't pick it up.
Oh my God, what garbage this is. It was such, and I said, it was open there, and I started choking, and the pages are all jacked up and stuck together now because I spit up my lunch all over it.
Yeah, that's why they're stuck together.
That's exactly why they're stuck together.
Double S says War of the Realms was really good. I'll be honest with you, out of last year, that was probably my favorite run because we had that great storyline that broke off of it from the Savage Avengers, which, God, to this day, I'm still like, ooh, fingernails and things going in between them drives me crazy. And if you read that, oh my God, it was great.
But I will talk about a book real quick this week. I liked issue 1. I know you liked part of issue 1, but then it changed for you. I don't remember if Mike read it or not. Adventure Man number 2. I picked up this one because I did like the first one enough. And this is actually moving along in the story a lot better. Because remember the first one, it was really great with that team dynamic, and all we found out it's a storybook and it's not real. But now at the end of the first one, she had that book, the new story of Adventure Man. Now stuff's actually coming to life, and she's like, the address from where the book is published is the actual address of Adventure Man headquarters or something along those lines. And she's going to the building. Like, nobody else can see the building. It's this huge skyscraper above like this garage, and everybody else thinks she's crazy because she can't see it. But like, there's no doorknobs. And she's trying to remember how to get in, and she remembers a story from Adventure Man and how they got in without the doorknobs or buttons to push in. And it kind of flashes back to what she remembers of reading of Adventure Man. I think it's really good. Although at the end of this book, they have now I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but they have a whole bunch of reading, suggested reading material for the readers. So you want to talk about race, new Jim Crow, mass incarceration, new American Revolution. So a whole bunch of stuff at the back of that book. I don't know how you feel. To me, it's like politics are everywhere. I mean, and comics are political. I get that.
Yeah.
I don't need this kind of stuff in my face when I'm trying to get away from politics. I'm trying to read books to get away from that.
It's like always, if you have a problem with Jim Crow laws, you know which political party to blame for that one.
But overall, the story, I loved it. Dodson art, probably one of my favorites outside of Adam Hughes. Yes, I'm changing the subject really quick there. Even though I brought it up. Dodson is probably one of my favorite artists outside of Frank Cho and Adam Hughes. So his stuff is really good. The story's good. The art's great. It's stash for me. I'll pick up issue 3 because I think it's only like 5 issues long, so it's good. Maybe that's Adventure Man 2 this week.
I wish I would have picked it up, but unfortunately, my comic book shop only had a current running title. So it's something weird. And maybe after the show, after we get done with reviews, maybe we want to hit on this a little bit because my comic book shop got its DC books way early.
Your Friday.
And I was like, Wow. So now I got to make two trips, which I don't mind making two trips. But anyway, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, it was kind of weird this week, and I want to kind of share that experience when we're done reviewing.
Yeah. Whoever wants to go next, Mike or Joe, want to talk about next book?
Mike, why don't you launch us off with one, buddy?
Oh, I'll launch one off.
Yeah, I bet you will.
Let's do
Gotta
this since it's
keep it PG. Keep it PG.
13.
Speaking about launching one off, let's go ahead, since it's on top of my pile right here, from Jamie Tyndall, one of my favorite artists, comic group Absolute, Wayward Sons #1. And this is the White Widow variant, and you can see White Widow. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, I see where you were pointing at.
Mm-hmm.
Right on top of the building.
You were pointing at meat and potatoes.
Oh, meat and potatoes, baby. Jamie Tyndall. So Wayward Sons. It's about a lead singer in a band. He's playing in a small back alley bar, and he's approached by 3 hot women who lure him up to the rooftops. He thinks he's going to have sex with them, but they actually throw him off the building because they want to activate his superpower, which is flight. And they end up being part. The power of Christ compels you. The power of Christ compels you.
It's you guys are catching the audio. This Mike's lights flashing in his room.
They end up being part of a superhero team called the Wayward Sons. Yeah, this is a stash. I mean, I don't know where it's coming from or, what it's going to lead into, but I'll pick up more. Why not? Stash it.
Is his band called Kansas?
Carry on my wayward son.
It could be.
That just seems a little weird.
Right?
I have that book. I did not read it. I'm wondering.
It's really short. You could read it like when Joey reviews a book.
I could probably read this one. God Loved Man Kills, the extended version. By the time Joe is reading a book or reviewing a book,
I have that one coming in the mail.
You can read War and Peace by the time I get done reviewing a comic book.
So I didn't pick that up. Joe, did you pick that one up?
No.
Okay, well, I guess we'll move on to the next one. What do you got for us, Joe?
One other thing I wanted to mention about the Empire, and I forgot this because I didn't review my notes. I'm not sure if it's a first appearance, so I need a little help from the comic book community. But there was the Profiteer in it.
That's what I said. Yeah.
Is that her first appearance? Because it's
That's what
not
it
coming up
says.
anywhere as a first appearance, and we found out she's actually the daughter or granddaughter of the Grand Master.
Mm-hmm.
Sister.
So I don't know if she's been anywhere else. I didn't have enough time to do the research on it. So if you know in the chat or in the comments, please let us know. So kind of help us out with that, because I try to keep on track on that kind of stuff. So it was kind of weird I couldn't find that one. So just wanted to kind of throw some community involvement.
That casino used to be the Grandmasters.
Right. They mentioned that in the comic book, but I'm like, I don't know who this person is. Honestly, kind of like her. I like good villains, and I think that's a good villain. Let's talk about Superman 23. Did anybody else pick this up?
No.
I know a lot of people. I'm sorry, Mike.
Picks up that shit. Nobody picks up that shit.
Okay, well, I've been reading it steadily, and since issue 1. I've been waiting for something like this to happen. So we have some cool stuff going on. If you don't know, I'm not going to get into the whole backstory of Leviathan and everything that happened. And I've already reviewed them. Please check out our videos for that. But in this, we do get a legitimate first appearance of, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but I'm going to go with Xena Doth, which is a magical being within an. And this is where I kind of take issue with the comic community kind of making up its own words and definitions. The truth is, at the end of the day, the whole cameo versus first appearance, technically, if we go by what we've heard already, this would be a first appearance because we kind of already had a cameo back when the bracelet was first presented, because the spirit lives in the bracelet. But honestly, I don't know how to define that anymore. I think all that stuff's getting out of control. So in this, we actually get a legit. Don't sign up. I'll wait for you.
Oh, Mike.
He ain't paying attention.
Did I miss one?
Yeah.
We get a first appearance. No, don't tell him. We already fixed it. We get a first appearance of this new character in here. I think it's pretty cool. I think it's going to be interesting to interject this character at this point, because we have a very clear connection to Justice League Dark as well, which is becoming a hot topic lately in comic book speculation and everything else. Is it going to become a show or anything like that? No, because the comic book just came out. They're not going to have time to make that show. But with that said, this is an easy tying character with something ancient because it is a piece of jewelry that is old. So who knows where it goes as far as speculation goes. I will say the story's getting a lot more interesting. It's a Superman book. I know we sometimes don't want to hear about the Boy Scout and all of his stuff, but every now and then I want a piece of nostalgia, and this was good. And we got a lot about Superman, letting himself out of the closet.
Really?
Well, he gave away that he's Clark Kent.
Oh, that.
Does that not count?
Wow. I guess, yeah.
He gave away his secret identity. But it was really cool how they played the new Dr. Fate character in here, the young man, and how Superman respects Dr. Fate as Dr. Fate, because their knowledge is always more. And we kind of saw a preliminary checkup, if you will, to see if Superman's been influenced by magical powers. And of course, Dr. Fate would be the person to talk to. With the new character being pre-med, that kind of made it interesting too. Don't ask me the young kid's name. It's a name I'm not going to try to butcher on here because I knew that's going to cause comments. Truth is, I can't pronounce it. And it's a Middle Eastern name. You would think as much time as I spent in the Middle East, I would figure this out. But it's just spelled weird. And I don't want to disrespect anybody, but I will say it is a good story. I'm digging this new Dr. Fate. I'm digging the Superman storyline, and I'm digging the Dorazal or Zaradol story thing, because it kind of takes place when all the secret agencies were being blown up anyway, and this being came out of power. So we have a story from the past being launched into the future. Good stuff. I know Superman's it's kind of cheesy. It's kind of whatever it is. But every now and then, you need a little cheesy in your life. Gives you the best dad jokes. So check it out. It's a stash for me.
Okay, let's talk about Batman 94. This was credited as the a fight between Harley and Punchline. But I'm like, they don't even. Harley's not even in the book at all. But this is really good. So it flashes back to Batman trying to, when he's Bruce Wayne, trying to learn how to do everything. He meets that old detective. He says, "I'm going to teach you how to lose." That's the whole thing the detective's going to do. I'm going to teach you how to lose, which Tom King tried to do that, I think, in his run. He tried to make Batman being able to lose, but this, I think, was a lot better in how they did this. I actually enjoyed this so much more. What
do you know who that character is?
Isn't that the designer?
No, it's a reference to the Golden Age.
Who?
The character's name. The character was a reference to the Golden Age. When
Ducard?
Yeah. It's not the designer.
Okay. They flash like he is the designer or something.
Yeah, I know. They tried to make that connection, but the truth is, if it does turn out to be the designer, we weren't guaranteed it, but that actual particular character is a character from the Golden Age who taught Batman how to deduce things. And the first thing he taught him to deduce was failure, to learn failure, know when you're failing.
But as I was saying too, though, it's like Tom King was trying to do that, Batman has to fail in order to figure out who he is. but this was doing it so much better. I think it's so much smarter. I think the way they did it here versus Tom King is just the broken person he is, mentally. Yeah, we get Batman to broken here essentially too, with his relationship with Selena messed up, him losing all his fortune, his money, his business, all that stuff. He's broken, But I think it's so much smarter here, and it is so much better. I'm loving this Batman. I'm loving this Joker War that's coming into it. So definitely, this is a stash for me. I ended up getting both covers on that too. What'd you think else on this show on Batman 94?
I thought it was great. I mean, I went with the broker cover.
The 1 in 25.
Yeah, I like covers like this. I didn't know about the broker. It's cool. I did catch the reference immediately because I have the Golden Age comic book that has the particular character in it that teaches Batman failure. That's how I immediately made the reference. But I will say this: if they tie that character into the designer, it would make so much sense. Because if we saw the designer from back in the day, it seemed very old school. Then, if they make that connection, beautiful. If they don't, well, you missed an opportunity. I mean, it is what it is. But we already know the designer's dead to some. Well, it's comic books; nobody's ever dead. So be it. I like this. We still don't know where Harley is. There's still a mystery there, so we'll get a separate issue for that. We know she didn't get shot in the head, Catwoman. We know she didn't get shot in the head. Apparently she got
Where
shot in
did
the head.
she get
But I
shot?
swear to God, if you go back to that issue, it looked like it was right up against her head. Okay, fair enough. I'm sorry, you were saying, Mike?
Where did she get shot?
I don't think they actually said in this issue, but I swear to God, in the last issue, it looked like it was right up against her head. Maybe, but panels, artists, and writing, things are going to be different.
Go back and look at all the panels of Catwoman in that book, and there's no visible gunshot wounds, no bandages, no nothing.
Yeah, I know, but in the previous issue, it looked like they had the gun right up to her head. I may be wrong. It's comic books. Who knows what happened in between the panels? It is what it is. But I really enjoyed this book. I think this guy's, and I'm still torn. I don't know. I don't know if Tom King did such a bad job that if you just kind of give me an okay story at this point, I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm reading this and I find myself just involved in the story and I find myself entrapped with it. Like, this is a classic Dark Knight Batman story. I really like it because we still got to deal with Lucius Fox. We're still kind of dealing with Alfred. That whole thing is not going away. We're going to deal with that for a while. We're constantly being inundated with that. Why Tom King thought that was a necessary thing. He wanted to do some shock and awe during his middle life crisis BS. In this, we legitimately had Batman who was beaten down, like you said, beaten down, everything taken from him. Love of his life has been shot, hurt, and then kidnapped by the Penguin and is hanging out in a villain hangout, which is basically just a bar. I'm really,
American Legion, isn't it?
huh?
Kind of like an American Legion, isn't it?
Oh, you don't even know. But when you come to Virginia, we got to take you to the American Legion. I'll show you all the villains.
Mike, what do you think of Batman if Joe's done?
Right? I really like this story. It's definitely a stash for me. Again, I just don't know if I've been just so jaded at this point by Tom King, or if it's just is legitimately good. I'm going to need a couple more issues to figure it out.
Mike?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I enjoyed it. I like the fact that, Jesus Christ, Joker is getting ready to. I got a belch here, so. All right, Joker's ready to fucking launch his master plan, and they're taking. Penguin takes it upon himself to get Catwoman out of the hospital and into his sanctuary where all the other villains are kind of laying low. because they know shit's going down. That was pretty cool. And it still bothers me about this whole Catwoman thing. There's no visible injury. She's got a full body shot laying on the bed in her bra and panties, and there's no gunshot wound, nothing. Why is she even in the hospital? But that's a whole nother beside the point. It's a stash. I'm excited for Joker War. Dave is getting a Joker War present soon. So,
should I do a live unboxing on that, Mike?
I think you should.
I think you should. On the show. Blaster stash it.
I can't hold on the package that long. As soon as I get it, I got to open it.
I hold my package for a long time.
I know.
I hold my package every
today.
day.
You do. Davis Comic Finds jumped in here. He says, howdy, folks. And he also says, speaking of failure, Davis Comic Finds in the chat. I don't know what he's alluding to there. Double S said, got it, Joey. I don't know for sure. I really don't read Superman except for the death of Superman. And then he also said he got the 1 in 24 rear variant with, it's supposed to be Kite Man on the cover?
On the cover, yeah. Kidding, because he knows my feelings on Kite Man.
Oh, dude, Kite Man is awesome in the Harley Quinn cartoon.
It's not a Kite Man. It's Glider Man. It's Glider Man. It's not a kite.
He said Catwoman is emotionally hurt. Yeah, probably.
I swear to God, we got some of the best viewers out there.
Okay, moving on. I brought up Batman.
I think it's Mike's turn.
Mike, you're up.
Mike.
I don't want to go. I don't want to do it.
Talk to us, Mike.
Figure it out.
So let's talk about it was almost my pick of the week, but other things happened. I really enjoyed this. This is Everglade Angels right here. I also got this one.
Kind of like Harley Quinn almost there.
Mm-hmm.
Not quite. This chick is better than Harley Quinn.
Those are both the same book?
Both same book, yep.
So you read them both?
No.
Oh.
So my daughter growing up was always playing softball, so this kind of I don't know how to say it, was pretty cool to see this because, taking her to all the games and everything. But anyway, this is about a softball team in Florida called, like the title says, Everglade Angels. They're on a road trip to Miami for their next game, and they actually stop off at a gas station, and they're invited to a rave by one of the locals. They go to this rave, and they run into a cult trying to kill them. Comes to find out they're drinking some kind of mystery Gatorade that gives them like steroid powers or something. But
I thought that once too.
Huh?
I thought that once too.
Yeah, they call the cops, and at the end, the cop is actually has some cult gear in the back seat. Love the girls, how they pick on one another. It kind of reminded me of the military, or me, Joey, hanging out, picking on each other. Throwing jabs at one.
Yeah.
Just the girls. It's funny. I loved it. Make a good horror movie. B-rated horror movie. But check it out, Everglade Angels. And there's some badasses if they have to fight. Yeah. So. There you go, Everglade Angels.
Okay, I know I didn't pick it up, Joe. Did you grab that?
No, like I said, no independence at my book or at my shop this week.
So I'll quit asking that. We want to talk about next, Joe.
Yeah, it's your turn. I thought we were doing a clockwise.
I brought up Batman.
He talked, and then now you talk.
I brought up Batman. You talked about Batman. Mike
Oh,
talked.
you want me to say words?
Yeah.
Right. Man, I've been drinking a lot. All right, because I only got 2 more Batmans. So let's talk about Strange Academy. Did anybody else read this?
I read that. Yeah, I picked it up.
So this is
I have
what
it coming.
this is what Harry Potter should be, as far as I'm concerned. My wife. All right, so I'm going to be quiet. So y'all need to work out with me on this one. All right, so my wife is a huge Harry Potter fan. She loves them, right? After the first movie, I was kind of bored with the whole thing. I was like, oh, look, he's a bored kid.
Because you have to read the books.
So sad. No, I did read the books. I read them all over the world. Every time a book came out, I read them. And I was like, I didn't finish them, but I read them. Kind of, sort of. This pretty much broke it down for me pretty quickly, and this did it in a lot more cooler fashion. You want to talk about group dynamics with people that shouldn't get along but have to? I know that sounds very SJW, but I'm going to tell you what, the writer of this has figured it out. There's authoritative figures that has to make a bunch of kids figure out how magic works and how to figure out how to work together, because they're all going to have special abilities. They're all extremely different, and we get to do it in a comic book format that isn't in your face. This is smart writing, smart artistry in here too, by the way. Also, we get how to make two kids work together. You put them in the worst case scenario ever where they got to figure it out. That's the best way. We did that in the Army all the time. Two people had a problem with each other. Fine. We're sticking them together, and then they got to figure it out. Because you give somebody a situation, they'll figure out all the incongruities of one another and figure out how to be a team. This book explained that. We have to send people in the Army to advanced training to figure out what this book explained in 28 pages. You stick them in the worst case scenario and make them figure it out. But we did find out that magic does have a cost, and it's something that we've always been taught. And the question was asked in here, these kids are constantly being able to do magic. What's the cost of it? And it was kind of blown off, because at this point, there's a secret. And the great thing about Brother Voodoo being involved as headmaster of this school is Brother Voodoo, if you've ever read any of his comic books, he's kind of a dick. He's kind of a dick. Even in Savage Avengers, he was kind of a dick. So, like, he's okay with the sacrificial thing because he is a voodoo priest and he understands the difference between sacrifice and the greater good. So ultimately, what do we got in this book? I think we have some great stuff coming along. I think we kind of get an alternative version of the everything needs to be Harry Potter. And we're actually getting kind of gritty with this. And we get a great, great group of characters from all over the Marvel universe, and I really enjoyed that, to kind of get the kind of insights of where everybody's from. So basically, you're just basically dealing with everybody's kids at this point. Good stuff. Check it out. Pick up 1 and 2 quick. These books will get hot. I promise you that.
What's the artist on that?
Some guy.
Humberto Ramos.
Yeah, I don't judge artistry. I can tell you the writer.
I love his stuff. He's awesome.
I tell you what, the art in this is better than Empire Zero. I was a little disturbed with the way they drew the thing and a lot of the background in Empire Zero. Like, that would have been my kind of hook on it. But I don't judge art. But in this, I generally find myself looking at the background and the characters. I'm surprised how much detail they actually do in this. I was surprised.
Yeah, I mean, I think you hit it on the head. This is Harry Potter. I mean, it breaks it down. They're going to classes. They're meeting their teachers who are already established Marvel characters, and going to each class. I like the fact that when they go to Magic's class, the one boy's late, and she ends up sending him to hell or whatever it is, and the other kid starts laughing at him. She sends him there with him. And then the rest of the class is moving on. 6th period, 7th period. And then it shows them in hell fighting this big demon, trying to make it through, just trying to survive. The art, I love the art. The art fits this story perfectly. The colors, everything about this, I think it fits perfectly. This was just an impulse grab for me. I bought the first one. And when I saw it on the shelf this week, I didn't order it. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give it a second chance. and I'm actually glad I did. This was a fun story, definitely all ages. I could definitely see this as something going on Disney Plus as a weekly show, a cartoon.
Yeah, definitely a cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if we could do live action. It could, but it'd be definitely a lot more money. But this would be definitely cool, all ages kind of story, just like the Harry Potter stuff. So definitely, it's a stash for me. Scotty Young's writing on this is top notch. I'm definitely digging it. And Mike, you ordered it, but you haven't got it yet. But yeah, I'm sure you'll probably like it just the same.
By the way, everybody, spoiler alert.
Of,
We did tell you already.
I don't know if they have, you just hit on it. I'm having a stroke. The time frame between issue 1 and issue 2 with the COVID shit. They have this at my shop. It's previously in Marvel Comics. It was
Okay, I
free.
didn't get that.
Yeah, it basically recaps every Marvel comic that took a break during COVID. So, in case you're wondering, like, what happened in Spider-Woman #1, because 2's getting ready to come out, you could go flip through here, and it gives you, little recaps of the storyline so far. So, I thought that was pretty neat on Marvel's end. So, stash them previously in Marvel Comics.
First appearance of somebody, right?
It is.
Yeah.
The comic book store owner's pubic hair that was stuck to the first page.
I hope they don't watch
What
this.
shop are you going to?
Apparently, Clarence Thomas is his LCS owner. And if you know who that is, you know the story behind that.
Hey guys, before we go any further, what do you think about what we reviewed already? Let us know in the chat. That's why we have a live chat for you. Don't forget, if you're watching this on the rewind, let us know what you bought. More importantly, let us know what you think about it.
Okay, let's talk about another Batman book. Let's talk about Batman: The Adventure Continues #2. This I think was better than the first one, far better, because the first one had like 2 different stories in it. It had that Superman Lex Luger story, which was like Superman was the battery, Batman figured it out. What did I say? I said Luger, didn't I?
Luthor. You been drinking, buddy?
Lex Luthor. I said Lex Luger. Who's Luger? Oh, I'm thinking of a wrestler.
That was a wrestler.
Yeah. Not Luger, Luthor, Lex Luthor. But this story here, Deathstroke's in here. We get the first appearance of Sonny as a protege of Deathstroke. So another first appearance. I'm not sure. So they go off the shelves, similar like Batman Adventures 12. But some pretty cool team stuff in here. Very much animated look on it from the cartoon. I know Joe and Mike said you're too busy chasing tail to even watch the Batman animated series. Apparently I wasn't. I was just a blob, just like Clayface, and just watching cartoons still. But this is pretty good. So, but Deathstroke's coming in. It's almost like a origin a little bit for Deathstroke, as in like his first, kind of interaction with Batman, and how that's how I got from it. Because Robin and Batgirl both like, who's this guy? This guy's awesome, But Batman's kind of like, whoa, hold off. He's not as cool as you think he is, So Batman or Robin and Batgirl think he's a really cool guy. But definitely, I think it's far better than the first one because it's just a single story going all the way through. Although we do have that other character with that white stripe in his head. We don't know who that is yet. It could be not Tim Drake. Tim Drake, who plays Red Hood? Who came back as Red Hood?
Todd.
Jason Todd.
Jason Todd.
Jason Todd. Sorry.
I don't know if it's Jason Todd. I don't know who that kid is yet. We're still trying to wait and find out who that is. But overall, I said last time, if you like the animated series, if you like Batman Adventures Volume 1 and 2, the ones that came out in the 90s, you'll definitely like this. I think it's really great. The art's great. Very nostalgic kind of feel to it. So definitely it's a stash for me. Maybe I'll pick up Batman Adventures too.
No, I think we both said.
What was that, Mike?
I didn't pick up 2, but I have this peach. But I have this peach Momoko variant
okay.
of number 1. How do you guys feel about Peach's work?
It's hit or miss. Not all of it's great, I don't think.
It's cartoony,
Um,
which I'm okay with, but again, it's hit or miss.
I think she's total fucking crap. Except stuff like this, when she's drawing a single character, it's okay. But when she's got 2 or 3 characters on the cover or page or whatever, it's not very good.
Yeah.
But I'm not a fan. I like this one.
I got that variant for number 1.
Who does that?
I forgot who the cover artist is on this one. I actually have 2 copies of this. One copy will be going to one of our patrons. Actually got some other comics I'm sending out. So one of them will have a bonus comic, and this will be it. I forgot who this was. I have to look at my email to see who it is.
It's going to be Pocan Joe. Thank you.
No, exclusive Chrissy Zulo, variant cover by Comic Mint. So that's that cover there.
Gotcha. I thought I had number 2, but I guess I didn't. Oh well.
Okay. Moving on, since you didn't read, nobody else read Batman Adventures Continue number 2 or whatever it was called. Who else wants to go right now? Who wants to do some talking?
I'm going to talk about Deceased Planet.
Okay. Go ahead.
Who read this?
I read that.
Mike? Yeah, there you are, buddy. Yeah, we got the same. We're like cover buddies. We need to touch tips. Boop. Oh, look at you with touch tips too. Boop. Oh, I'm sorry.
That just it sounds. Thinking of touching tips, we're all going to Baltimore.
So I like this. Oh my god, I like this.
Hold up.
Go ahead.
So speaking of Baltimore, I told you guys in the chat that I requested time off. So I have to fill out this sheet, and they ask you the reason why. So I put getting a lap dance from Dave. For my reason. So
No, you didn't do that.
Hopefully that goes through okay. So I might not have a job, but no, I'm kidding.
I told him to get checked out for CHBD.
I put family coming into town, and yeah. So
I just tell my boss I'm going to buy comic books.
Yeah, I work for the government. I'm like, I've earned it. I'm leaving. I earned it. I'm leaving. So yeah, Deceased. Oh my god, how good is this story? We get to see Damian Wayne a little older. He's taken the mantle of Batman. They've been on a separate planet for 5 years, and guess what? They had to form a Justice League. They made a president. There is some conflict on the local planet that's going to happen when settlers just move into some place. That happens in history. It's congruent to America or anywhere in the world, really. So this happened, but then they get a beep, beep, dee, dee, beep, beep, dee, dee sound. Apparently, Cyborg.
What is it?
Beep, beep, dee, dee, beep, beep, dee, dee. You can check out the sound effect in the comic book.
Twinkie from Buck Rogers.
Beep, dee, 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 beep, dee, dee, dee. I know, good reference. Anyway, so apparently Cyborg has figured something out after 5 years of checking his own database. It's a little ridiculous, but whatever. We're going to roll with it. It's comic books. It's not too silly. It's not too outside the realm. Whatever. So we're going to roll with it because we need a reason for these characters to come back to Earth, right? And Green Arrow not only gets his show canceled, but apparently he dies in this issue and comes back as a zombie. And he had a problem with going in the first place, which is right in character. Everything is falling in character. They didn't get weird with this. And it makes such a great story. That's such a great tie-in. I want to follow this a little farther. We have Job who stepped up in the role of Superman. We see children stepping up into their father's roles or their father figure roles, and people falling into their roles as being that next generation, which is great. And now they're going to go back to Earth because Cyborg has something to say. They come back after several times. There may be a cure for everything. That's awesome. Does it make sense? No, but as comic books, it doesn't have to. You're allowed some fantasy. So, okay, let's play the role. How does this work out at the end? What is the answer? You know what? I'll be honest. This comic book left me on such a cliffhanger. I'll keep reading this. So this was my pick of the week.
Oh, really?
I'll be honest with you. This was a solid one for me.
Yeah, we all knew that Deceased wasn't going to end with how it did. We knew there was going to be more coming. And we've had a couple one-shots here and there with them, too. Overall, I think this was pretty good. I think even better than the first one, Deceased, run through with it. Because they do have conflicts. Because like Green Arrow doesn't want to go back. He's like, no, we've already lost too many people. We're going to be losing more. Now, I understand he's a friend, but is it really going to be worth risking more people's lives? I do like the fact that Damian still has his smart-ass attitude as Batman. When he's asking, like, they're asking about hitting him in the spleen or whatever, and he's like, I'll give you a fight. Wait, do you have a spleen? That whole talking back and forth I thought was really good. And then, of course, we get at the end where they think there is a cure, but who knows? It may be Cyborg just being possessed and trapped now to lure the other ones back. But overall, I thought this was pretty good. Not my pick of the week by any means, but definitely a stash for me. What about you, Mike?
Oh yeah, I've loved Deceased since it started. Last year, I think it was. I loved all the zombie stuff, the different takes on the characters. But the good stuff. This is my pick of the week as well. Get a little crypto in here as well. I like Damian as Batman. I mean, you guys said it all. So we'll see where it goes.
You and Joe can touch tips on that one. Okay.
I like the fact that Marvel tries to one-up DC in this. They're doing the Marvel Zombies Resurrection. You see that?
Yeah, but who came out first, though? Didn't Marvel Zombies come out first?
Marvel Zombies came out first.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about, since Joe's not back yet, talk about Detective Comics. Huh?
Go ahead.
What are you going to say?
I said, what's your pick of the week?
Oh, what's my pick of the week? I think it's probably going to be Batman 94. This was actually pretty good, too. So Joker is going to get some little help. So he goes into the owl's nest to resurrect the head owl to be able to attack Batman. And Batman's trying to get answers, trying to find Two-Face. He ends up beating the crap out of Hugo Strange. He does end up finding Two-Face. Two-Face has one of the Bat mech suits from the New 52 that came out in New 52. And then also now we get the owls, too, coming back into play. So overall, I thought this was a pretty good issue. Good tie-in with the Joker War. I do like the fact that Batman doesn't like to use guns, but he'll use a bazooka on a mech suit, which I thought was an awesome freaking panel on that. Yes, Joe.
No, I like bazookas.
No, that was just an agreement. I like bazookas. But overall, I thought this was pretty good. I mean, we still get Two-Face back in here a little bit, but he's not in that lead villain role as we thought he was going to be. But at least he's still back in here. So the Owls are definitely going to be playing a big part coming up in the Joker War. So definitely a stash for me, too, on that. I wish that DC would not charge $1 more for the cover bees. I mean, you get the cardstock cover, I guess, but still, $1 more. Asshats. What did you think of the comic, Mike?
Yeah, more great Batman stuff. You said it, Joker bringing back one of the Talons. His name is Lincoln March, something like that. I meant to go research it, see if he was like prominent back in, the whole what are they called? The
Court of
Talons. Court of Owls storyline to see, but I never did. So, you got Batman beating the brakes off Hugo Strange and the Mad Hatter looking for Two-Face. I didn't like the fact Two-Face had that bad armor, but it is what it is. Then that Lincoln March shows up at the end, and we're going to get a fight, apparently. So, but yeah, good stuff. Stashing it.
Lincoln March
Right up to the Joker war.
Batman #1, 2011.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you.
I just noticed that on Joker's socks in this cover, he has little sharks.
Marcus got a hard on.
I was.
Okay.
Oh no!
What'd you think?
They're Joker fish. They're the Joker fish.
Oh, are they?
Joker fish with little smiley faces. I was wondering what you were saying, but yeah.
What'd you think of Detective Comics there, Joe?
Hard blast.
Oh, really? Wow.
I know that's weird for me because I'm a huge Joker fan. However, I don't think I think there's a missed opportunity here. Don't get me wrong. I'd like the Court of Owls storyline, but I don't think it needs to be tied into every other comic book. I feel like we've played this out at this point. We understand what the Talons are. The truth is, it was an okay storyline at best, at least in my opinion. By all means, meet me in the parking lot. Meet me outside. Give your comments, definitely.
That could be arranged. Give me about 20 minutes.
I thought it was okay at best. So why are we running this back into it? We had a great story where we were doing something unique with a character. We actually took Two-Face and we made a religion out of it. And there's some pseudoism behind it called flippism. I've talked about it on my channel. And it was a great concept. And then you just cheapen that entire thing by putting Two-Face into a mech suit and made it about Joker War. Look, I get Joker War's your push this year. I get it. But seriously, you had a great thing going here. Like that, you could have tied that in, made it an army, whatever. But really, mech suit and just get defeated with a grenade launcher. Not the way I want to see Joker War start off. And damn sure not the way I want to see an excellent storyline where you're kind of messing with a little bit of religion and you're messing with Harvey Dent at the same time. I thought it was a great projection, and then you just kind of limped it out on me. It was all right. So it's a Whiskey Dick story. I'll just throw it out there. It's a Whiskey Dick story. Like, it's kind of hard, and there's some interesting things going on. But let's be honest, you can push all night long. What's going to happen?
Hashtag that shit.
Whiskey Dick.
I don't think everybody is ever in YouTube. I could be wrong in YouTube history compared a comic book to a Whiskey Dick story.
I'm just saying, dude. Like you had a great thing, and it was there, and the momentum was there, but you just spent a little too long drinking.
Okay, let's go ahead and run into lightning round. We're an hour into this bad boy. There are two books I did read this week: Shadow Children by Red Giant. Blast.
No, that was awesome.
No, it was not. It was a turd. It was a turd.
I will fight you.
Ghost Rider #7, Johnny Blaze versus Danny Ketch, the Corruptor.
I dropped that a long time ago. I don't know why you're still reading that.
It wasn't too bad. I didn't think it was bad. I missed issue 6 though, so I need to go back at issue 6. It wasn't too bad. It fills that Ghost Rider need that I want to have. Not the best story. Ed Brisson is okay on it. Cooter's Art's okay on it. But let's see here. Double S says, I agree with Joey. They had a great angle with the Two-Face, but after a few issues, they had to mess it up, just like they did with Kite Man.
Right.
Big issue. The other books I had this week that I did not read, and I got like 4 of them. I'm like, really? Did I actually order these? I didn't know, but I guess they were solicited back in 2018. Magica, I didn't read that one. Carry On, My Wayward Sons, I did not read that one either. Katrina, that's the white spider, white widow.
White Widow
Cover. I don't even know how to pronounce that name there. I have 2 White Widow issues. Dual Identity. I didn't read that one either.
Deja Thoris?
No. I got this one just because it's the extended cut. I never have read the original either. X-Men God Love and Kill. God dang it. And I picked up this one just because it is kind of a spec book right now. It's running about $15, and that is Ruins of Ravencroft Carnage. Just the first appearance of Cassidy's grandfather? Yeah. So I guess he's maybe supposed to be playing a bigger role coming into the Carnage and Null stuff.
That's an older book, isn't it?
It is an older book. Yeah, I picked it up.
I thought I had that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's on Key Collectors, run like $15. So if you see it in the store, go grab it. I mean, I have one too. But I grabbed a second one just for spec.
Key Collector, man. Break up the Key Collector, especially when you see my auctions, because they're all on Key Collector.
Yeah. That's all my books I got this week. How about you, Joe? What else you got? You only had like one.
Nope, that's it. I have the least books this week.
Oh wow. Little cocaine sack. What about you, Mike?
What's that mean? Cracking a beer on you, bud.
I only have the last one more, and that's my new favorite DC book, Flash 757. Shout out to Virginia Beach 757. Oh yeah. But still continuing to pretty good. This is the first appearance of the Legion of Zoom, Captain Cold, the Turtle, Gorilla Grodd. I forgot that dude's name. I think it's the Weather Wizard. Could be wrong.
Turtle.
Who knows?
Turtle.
Good stuff. Flash is searching the world for Reverse Flash.
Turtle.
When what's his wife's name? Flash's wife's Iris. Is it Iris? I think so. She tells him to slow down. He'll show up, and all of a sudden, the Legion of Zoom attacks, and that's about it. So it's a stash. I didn't blast no books this week. No books.
Couple of the back issues I got. Justice League of America number 74. That guy, 15-cent cover, and then number 71. Couple cool back issues for me.
Yeah, my back issues from last week are already filed. I'm not getting them.
These were filed up on my cabinet right there, but not filed away yet.
So, real quick before we end this show, we said at the beginning we would talk about it. How do we feel about this? Because I was a little jacked up this week. Like, I couldn't get the books that I wanted because of this whole new distribution system going out. I know Mike's had his comic book shops had problems with it. How has it been working for everybody else? The DC Marvel split distribution. And then now we're talking about independent comic books finding their distribution. Opinions, thoughts, whatever. Comment, chat, folks. Hit it.
I like it.
You like it. Okay, why?
Why? Because I don't have 20 Marvel and 20 DC all in the same day to read. I have 1 week heavy DC, 1 week heavy Marvel, and with a few independents thrown in there. I think for myself, but
like legitimately, it's a day's difference. Does that make a big deal for you? I have to ask.
A day?
So for at Zeno's, they gave me I could come in on Tuesday because my DC books showed up, and then I could show up on Wednesday to pick up all my Marvel and all the Diamond stuff. That means all the independents. And I just find it kind of like, don't get me wrong, you've met Wayne. You know I like Wayne. I like going there, but do I have the time to travel twice a week to a comic book store? Where are you at with your comic book store?
They get all their books on the same day.
No, Wayne got his on a different day, and so did yours. I already know that.
The DC books?
DC showed up on Tuesday. Marvel showed up on Wednesday.
Well, he might have not put them out. I don't know.
Maybe.
I think that's the thing too with the two stores that I go to. One, like they got their books on Friday, DC books on Friday. I was able to pick up my DC books on Tuesday. The other place didn't release everything until Wednesday, so they have one comic book day still. At least that's from my understanding. But I think it's kind of nice because on Tuesday I can sit there and read almost all of my DC. It gives me one extra day to read comics, before we go live on Friday night, which is nice. I was able to finish up all of my DC stuff that night. So
hey, we used to do that when you could do it on Sunday, but we changed.
I know. Now I think it would make more sense to me that Marvel would split with Diamond, because Marvel's big enough to be able to sustain itself. Now, the independent guys, I could see where they would be able to have the previews or Diamond to distribute, because there's a lot smaller books, a lot fewer books, under one banner versus trying to distribute themselves.
So I've made this argument, and let me know your thoughts, both in the chat, comments, and in the room. I've made this comment before. I don't know how it would work. So at one time when comic books ran at convenience stores, they were run through various independents. So if you had a Teeny Giant, 7-Eleven, Wawa up north, whatever your local market was, they were ran through different distribution centers, right? That's why direct editions became so popular. So I've been thinking about this lately, and I've been thinking about, because I have to deal with this a lot at work too. What's the best way to distribute things? And let's be just honest. Amazon's got it figured out how to distribute. Like, they have the different chains, the micro hubs. Like, they set up to, they're not an independent seller. They're a distribution company, and they figured it out how to incorporate small businesses to do it. So my argument always been, and I've always had a problem with one person that distributes comics. Like, I don't like that. I want a variety of comics coming on different dates. I really want that. But with the change kind of happening, that's happening now, and we're starting to see this kind of maneuver, is a pull box, because I've never found a pull box to be valuable. I can always go in and get the comic books I wanted, but is a pull box becoming more and more valuable to getting the comic books that a collector wants? Discuss.
I think a pull box is very important if you want to get those books that it may not have a high number, and especially if you're looking for a collector or a resale value of a book, being able to get that book ordered months in advance versus I hope I get one on the shelf versus paying. I mean, too, if you're looking at independent books, you could lose your ass. I don't know how many independent books I have here that I spent $5, $4 on and not worth crap. But I didn't. Every once in a while, I have those books that I ordered cover A and cover B on, and they're worth 50, 60, 70, bucks. So I think there are pros and cons to it, really.
So you're looking at it from a flipper.
Yeah. From a
That's fair. Mike, what do you think about all this? Are you willing to make multiple trips to a comic book store, or are you looking more towards? You don't keep a pull box either.
No, I don't keep a pull box. I've never kept a pull box. That kind of ruins it for me. I don't know, the hunt maybe, but what were you saying?
But if multiple
I-
comic books come
if
out
I
throughout the week through DC and everything else, and there's a week
Um,
like I had a week where like legitimately the guy texted me and said, "Hey, all my DCs are being bought up. Is there something you want me to hold?" And like I had to
so
tell him, you know, Wayne. I was like, "Yeah, I don't do a pull, but if you can keep these ones for me just for the show, like legitimately, my books this week from DC are for the show. Like I
I
did
will
not have a pull box."
if I go to my shop on Wednesday morning when they open at 10 a.m. and the guy's like, "Hey, my DC books didn't show up, or whatever books didn't show up, blah blah blah." They'll be in tomorrow. I won't go back. I'll just order them online and just go from there because I use my comic shop religiously every
Yeah.
Tuesday night.
Yeah, pretty
And
really. Yeah.
So
Like I have the same
it
thing with
doesn't
my
bother
comic
me
book guy,
one bit.
but my comic book guy knows that I'm not a pull box guy. That I like I got to go in and see the comic book. Like I'm very big on that. I don't buy cover buys. I don't believe synapses. I got to go in and touch the book, look at it. Like I do my homework before I go in there. Because I don't want him thinking that he needs to order a bunch of books for me and then there's something in there. I'm like, nah, this is garbage. I found out. I don't want it. And like I don't want to do that to the guy. So I'm an impulse buy guy. I buy him on the spot. And I think that's more beneficial to my comic book guy, my comic book store, because Wayne knows when I go in there, I'm dropping anywhere from $50 to $100 any given day that I walk in there. Now that's a huge range, but let's be honest. If he doesn't come in with a lot of independent number ones, I'm not buying that many more comic books because I do a review show about my channel, which will happen tomorrow, by the way. And then I do this one. So he knows, yeah, Joey needs certain things. So if he sees something that he's like, hey, I know Joey, this, like he knows me. And this is where I think, and I'm going to make this argument. I want y'all's opinions on it. I think it's better for me to have a relationship, not like a weird relationship, but like a friendship with my comic book store. He knows what I do. He knows what I read. We talk about comic books. We see each other at Comic Cons here. I think it's better to have a relationship than it is a pull box. What do you all think?
I agree with that. Like me and my guy, he knows my wife. He gives me discounts when he shouldn't. He gives me free stuff all the time. If I ask for something, he'll generally get it to me if I need whatever. So we have that. Me and I can never remember his name, but you know him.
Yeah, I've met him several times. He doesn't like me very much, but I like him.
with both my stores too, they know me. And they'll shoot me a message. Hey, like that Walking Dead that Negan lives. I was, hey, do you want the gold edition? Of course, I was going to get it at a higher price, but I was one of the first to get that offered to me.
I got a silver one. I got a silver one, and I told him right up in the text message. He's like, I got a silver one if you want it. I was like, I'll be honest with you, because I was heading out of town to take care of some business. I told him, no, look, if somebody wants it before me, by all means, sell it to them. I don't want you to lose money. I always make that a point. If you can make cash money in hand, don't rely on me. Make that cash money. I come back out of town, and he's like, I still have it, and I got a discount of 10% versus the eBay prices that were going around on a silver one. So I was like, that's pretty cool. All right, thanks, man. It's good looking out. Like, it's not about having a pull box. It's not about being part of the community, but actually making relationships. I think, like, we use the word community. Well, I don't want to get too deep into it, but I think a relationship, like just being buddies and pals and just looking after another, I think that's more important than just building a community. I live in a community. Most of us hate each other here because we have a homeowners association. They're a bunch of Nazis. But I think building a relationship, I think that's more important.
So I had this mentioned to me by my LCS owner one time. It was earlier this year. He goes, I walk in there and buy my books. He goes, out of all the people that come in here to buy books, you're the one person I probably could trust to watch my store. So right there.
That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, I have the same relationship with mine too. I mean, I get to go in the back and look at the collections that he's bought. I mean, I'm not the only one, of course, but before he even hits the floor, and usually he gets me a discount because he just says, you know what, I didn't have to dig through it. You found it. I don't have to put a bag of board on it. You got it. So, and he has. This is what the sales price would be. This is Dave's price. And I usually get pretty good books on stuff. Pretty good price on stuff.
So I bought a comic book. I bought Venom Lethal Protector, one of the shiny variants. I picked one up out of the comic book because he just got a haul in. He was like, my comic book guy was like, and Mike's met my comic book guy. He's like the most chillest cat ever. And it's one of the oldest comic book stores in the U.S. Like, the dude's been open since the 70s for a comic book store. He keeps some regular books in the back, but most of his money comes from comic books. So he has this comic book, and I walk up, and his new box, I flip through it. I walk up to him, and I'm like, man, what are you asking for this Venom 1 Lethal Protector? I know it's a hot book. You know what I'm going to do with it. You know I'm going to flip it. I need to know if it's worth my time. And he looked at me, and he's like, give me $5 for it? And I'm like, you know what I'm going to pull at an auction for this. And he goes, man, I'm not stressing that out because I'm going to make $80 from you next week. I'm going to make whatever else next week. Like, you come in here on a regular basis. Like, I know I'm going to make money from you. And I was like, first off, I thought that was the coolest thing ever because that's the connection that we have. And I thought that was really cool. So I ended up giving him $20 because I thought that was fair. And I told him, I'm giving you $20 for it. I think that's fair. And, like, he tried to argue with me. I was like, I'm giving you more money than you requested. Like, seriously? But that's cool, man. It's people talk community, right? And I think this is very important to say. That's fine. I live in a community. I live in Los Gaviotas. Half of us hate each other. We're a community.
What's that shop in Norfolk?
Heroes.
Local
Heroes.
That's not a comic shop to me.
It's not. That's a pop culture shop, and most of the kids in there, they're all about. Never mind. They're about their own thing. No comic books, and they're about their own thing.
Okay, so I wanted to bring this up since we're talking about Diamond and DC split off and that stuff. So I got somebody sent me an email from Diamond talking about. I'll go to screen share this. I'll add to the stream. I moved over into Word because they asked me not to put who I got the email from. And pop over here.
What are you guys talking about here?
This is from Steve Jeppy, the owner of Diamond. He said he's stepping down. So today I'm announcing an organizational change that will help us lean even further into many opportunities to evaluate our industry, our business, and our brands in a fast-moving and evolving marketplace. In fact, immediately I'm reassuming the role of president of Jeppy Enterprise in addition to my position as chairman. Reassuming. Stan Heiderman will be departing the organization. I thank him for his contribution to wish him all the best in future endeavors. As you know, I have a strong history of growing and leading this organization for several decades, energized about the next phase. I'm supported by an exceptional, talented executive leadership team with deep enterprise and unwavering commitment to our industry, as well as the incredible team they have built. I'm proud to be privileged to work with such amazing people. So it says, under his guidance, the executive leadership team will support a comprehensive strategic review to position the enterprise for future growth. I feel this tremendous responsibility to our employees and the industry. Fully intend to set all Jeppy family enterprise brands on a path for robust growth. I'm confident we'll have right leadership with talented teams in place, enormous opportunities for GFE. I don't know what you guys think of that. It looks like maybe he says he's reassuming the role of president.
I'll tell you exactly what he's saying right now. I'm going to break this. I'm going to break down
mafia.
I'm going to break down corporate to simple. right? Basically, what
Okay.
they're saying
I'm
is
going to the bathroom. I'll be back.
go take a bathroom. I'm going to tell you exactly what they're doing. This is not unheard of. This is not unusual. All they're doing at this point is they're redirecting. So what everybody is starting to notice in the market now, mind you, DC is owned by AT&T now. AT&T is about fast, efficient. They're about subcontractors and other contractors. AT&T itself doesn't really do much work anymore than a corporate office at this point because they're an S corporation. So what they do is they rely on all the other various companies in this. So what they're trying to do is as they take over DC, they're trying to influx this model. Now, what you had before this gentleman took over, is you had a person that didn't understand this model. The person beforehand did. This man has a lot of information about distribution. When Diamond became the sole distributor of comic books, this was, and I know we like our comic books to be simple, so I'm going to say something that's kind of weird right now, but hear me out. We screwed up as a comic book community. We allowed this to happen for one company to decide how every comic book is distributed to us is not very fair. That's not fair, right? Like that's not capitalism. That's not a small business that wants to get involved. That is the worst part of capitalism. The part of one company for the people. It's the worst case scenario. We should have multiple companies that can have this out. This stuff should be subcontracted out. I think right now, my own personal opinion, maybe it's nostalgia, maybe it's opinion. Comment below. I think comic books need to be more accessible to people, especially the popularity of comic books right now. Now, speculators are going to hate me right off the bat because you're like, well, if everybody can get comic books, they're not that rare. I lose value when I try to sell one. Sorry about your luck. Like, seriously, we're talking about an industry before the movies hit that was basically at baseline zero. We're just trying to get readership back out. I think reading a comic book, understanding a comic book, and evaluating what's in a comic book and finding out what's important in a comic book, because it is today's mythology, is more important than what I can sell it for. Any of my auctions that I've ever lost online, all the comic books start off at $1. Legitimately $1. What you want for the comic book is what it is. And there's first appearances, some key collector stuff, a little bit of everything in there. But at the end of the day, I don't care. These aren't comic books I'm keeping in my collection, but I have them because I review them and I produce it to the people. If I don't want to keep it, it needs to go away. So I charge $1. I mean, literally on an online auction. It's not even a live auction where I do things like New York Comic Warrior. And I'm not talking bad about these other people, but they're in there, they're hustling, they're making money. God bless them. I'm not trying to do that. At the end of the day, I'm legitimately throwing it for $1. If it's based off of if I like it or don't at that point. So I don't know. Like that, my business model, distribution, I think and we're about to get into another phase. I think we need to figure out how we're going to get comic books out to people faster versus trying to change their minds and teach them lessons. Right? I don't know.
Okay, let's go ahead and wrap this thing up. I got to go get some exercise.
I got to get too much.
Yeah.
Mike, did you throw up a sign?
What?
Did you throw up a sign?
I did.
He did,
That-
yeah.
Yeah, nobody paid attention to it.
That-
Well, no, I'm sorry.
that-
Nobody else did.
Okay, so
You
we're
wanna
going to
see
go ahead and
something
wrap
cool?
this thing up. Anything else you want to say real quick before we get out of here?
No, he said enough. Let's go.
Happy 4th.
Happy belated 4th. Okay, we'll go ahead and
This is
bounce on
for
out
you.
of here. What are you going to show us?
Oh yeah, shut your. Can we do a quick shut your Funko mouth?
Did
No.
you get the I Am Iron Man?
Can we do a shut your Funko mouth? Come on, we haven't done it
No.
forever.
Shut your
Do it.
fucking mouth.
Okay. Later, guys. We'll catch you guys next week for new comics. Later.
She told me so.